Hey everyone, I'm Sean Salmon, the Vice President of MCLE and Professional Development here at Quimbee. Today I'll be joined by Leslie Burkoff, Partner and Chair of the Dispute Resolution Practice Group at Mort Hawk in New York. She's also the former chair of the Bankruptcy Practice Group, and she serves on the firm's management committee. During the next hour, I'll be asking Leslie to talk to us about mediation strategies, including an in-depth discussion of the mediation process, how to prepare a case for mediation, how to prepare a client for mediation, and more. And just to note, I did ADR competition in law school, so I might nerd out a little with you today, Leslie. So welcome.
Thank you
So
so
welcome.
much.
How are you? Oh, you're welcome. And should we get started? Anything else you want to add about your experience before we jump in?
No, I think the only thing I would add is that I've been doing dispute resolution for probably 25 years, and that's not my whole law career. But I was at the forefront of when mediation started to become adopted by the bankruptcy courts, and you can't turn into a different court anywhere nowadays without seeing mediation or presumptive mediation or dispute resolution. So it's kind of nice to be on the forefront of an area of the law that was so under-recognized and underutilized for so many years.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And let's just start right at the top, right? So, what considerations should parties keep in mind when they're selecting a mediator?
So, I think people make a mistake sometimes in undervaluing the benefits of mediation. And to me, mediation is an important process, and it starts from the minute you decide to go to mediation and for the selection of the mediator. So don't pick Bob Smith or Sally Jones just because you've used them before. I think you have to look at what your case is about, what your clients are like and might be receptive to, and not just your client, the other side's client, because the mediator needs to appeal to both parties. So he or she needs to be received well, adhered to well, followed in terms of instruction and respect. And there's a lot of different things I think we need to consider. So talk about the kind of style you want. I mean, and again, each case is different. So is the mediator facilitative in their style? Do they help the parties along? Do they just sort of nudge them to things? Is that going to work for what you need? Do you need a more evaluative mediator? Do you need somebody that's going to sit down maybe with your client and with the other side's client and go through risks and benefits and talk about the law, apply the facts to the law, give somebody a reality check on what they're doing in their case? Does the mediator have a mix of styles? Maybe that works. You have to look at what their credentials are. If this is a sophisticated defamation case, a construction case, you can't use the mediator that you use necessarily for your contract dispute. You may need somebody that understands the area of law, because going back to one of my first points, how are they going to help evaluate things? Or how are they even going to understand the issues and dispute between the parties if they don't understand the basic principles that apply to the dispute in question? You may want to look for personality traits. Let's be honest. If you've got all men in the room and all gray-haired men in the room, I don't know. I hate to say it this way, but from unconscious bias, they may not listen to a younger woman. I wish that was different, but they may not. But they may listen to a woman that has 20 years experience or has credentials or has done significant mediations. If your clients are of a distinct cultural background, you may want somebody that can appeal to them in that regard as well. Nothing should be sacrificed for the expertise and the understanding at the end of the day, but these are all really, really important considerations. So that's some of the things I would think about.
So, I mean, would you consider or should you consider interviewing a mediator?
It's a really good point. I am surprised sometimes how many times that does not happen. Now, I have a fair amount of attorneys I work with on a regular basis, both on either side. And so they're familiar with me. They know my style. They like what they see. And I will work with them on a repeat basis. But every now and then I do get people reaching out to me and saying, hey, we'd like to talk to you. So first thing, understand there's no issue with it. There's no ex parte communication in mediation. And by that, I mean, it is okay. The mediator by nature speaks to parties privately. Arbitration, litigation, wholly separate. You don't speak directly to an arbitrator. You don't speak directly to the judge in your commercial dispute. But in mediation, even when I'm in the process, I'm going to speak to people separately. So you could, and I have been interviewed, and parties, and there's no bias. I'm not making a decision. So they could get on the phone and tell me anything they want about their adversary, their case, for purposes of interviewing me. And it isn't going to taint anything because I'm impartial. And again, I can't make anybody settle.